Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a walkthrough video guide of my program. So if you purchase my program and you're working out with me for the next 10 weeks, especially for this month of September, this video is for you. You will love it. If you haven't purchased the program, what you doing? No, I'm kidding. If you haven't, this video is still for you. I hope you learned something new. I'm just going to be taking my audience through the gym and talking about certain exercise machines and how to use them, and telling you what muscles you should be focusing on feeling while doing these exercises so you can really hit that mind muscle connection. All right, and first up we have squats. So I would be doing you a disservice if I was just to chat off cues for the squats. But I'll definitely put some links in the description box of people who've made really great videos that talk about proper squat form. Now, if you're someone who's doing my program and you're not comfortable with barbell back squats, please, it's okay. There's other alternative exercises you can do, because any work you do with a barbell with free weights, I would suggest that you have a coach or someone there with you that can help you through cues and your form, because you can injure yourself if you do these movements improperly. So check the description box for some reputable sources that talk about squats and demonstrate squats, but I do want to talk about some alternative squat exercises. So the thing that's awesome about barbell back squats is that it's a compound lift, which means it hits multiple areas of the body, and that's what makes it so challenging, and that's what makes it so difficult. But of course, there are other exercises and machines that you can use that still hit a lot of the same muscles that a squat can hit. So as you guys know, my shoulder is injured right now and I'm not able to squat. Like it's killing me, but I'm unable to squat right now. So some of the things that I'm going to be doing, you may have seen in the first week, I was doing some front squats. Front squats are very similar to back squats, but the weight is front loaded. It's going to hit your quads a lot more. And for me, I have to go much lighter in weight for my front squats, as it tends to kind of trigger my lower back. I'm still not the best with front squats. Other things you'll also see me doing are hack squats. I love the hack squat machine. It's so effective. And with this machine, it's so challenging. I always have to do a lightweight, like it's crazy, but you get such a great stretch in your quads. You know, yesterday I made a video talking about the new research and science on best muscle building practices and talking about lengthened partials, and doing a hack squat, like all the way at the bottom, properly doing a hack squat. Talk about lengthening your quad muscle, okay? Like, that's definitely what I'm going to be trying the next leg day in lieu of me doing squats, since I can't squat right now. But in the program, as alternatives, I also have bodyweight squats, goblet squats, and heel elevated squats. Bodyweight squats are perfect if you're a beginner, if you're still trying to get used to the squatting motion. You can practice all your cues, making sure your knees are turning out, that they aren't caving in, making sure that you're engaging your lats, and that you're feeling the muscles that you want to be feeling. So as I said, the squat is a compound lift. You'll be feeling many muscles working. For one, when you're at the bottom of a squat, you'll be feeling your entire quad working, but specifically at the bottom, it's going to be closer to the knee versus here, closer up towards your hips. But you go through all the muscles within your quad, as well as your hamstring and your glutes, as you really want to feel them as you're getting up out of the squat. Now, also with the squat, you might notice it's important to keep your torso upright. If you're caving forward, that's a bit of a problem you'd want to work on. And when you're squatting, keeping your torso upright with a goblet squat, with bodyweight squats, is still making sure that you're engaging your cores and your back muscles to keep this motion in line. Keeping your torso upright and knowing how to engage your core is such a crucial thing to learn when it comes to squats. And it's one reason why I love goblet squats. Goblet squats, where you have that weight front loaded in front of you, makes it even more tempting to crash forward, but you really have to learn how to engage your whole core, keep your torso straight up, and it really teaches you how to do those things, which transfers over into your back squats. Now, I have the suggestion of having your heels elevated when you squat for those of you that struggle to hit a squat with depth. By elevating your heels, it can make squatting a bit easier, and honestly, over time, you'll be able to sink lower and lower into it. Over time, your ankle mobility will improve, and you'll find yourself squatting ATG in no time. I started off elevating my heels as well. So once again, with the squat compound lift, you're hitting literally the entirety of your leg from your hamstrings to your quad muscles to your glutes to your core to your lats. You're hitting so much. And even if you're doing an alternative exercise to the barbell squat, it's still a great exercise to do. The largest muscles in the body are in our lower half, are in our glutes, are in our legs, and building up strength in the largest muscles in the body and building up mass in the largest muscles in the body will ensure that you have a higher metabolic rate, which allows you to burn more fat. Another one of the suggestions I have as an alternative to the squats are touch and go box squats. Now, I've chosen touch and go box squats as an alternative for you guys because it's another great way to help you learn how to hit depth if you struggle with getting deeper into your squat. This is another exercise and another drill that I did when I first started lifting. You know, you go from not squatting at all to learning how to squat, to trying to learn to squat properly, and then trying to challenge yourself and to get even better in the squat, squatting lower, squatting deeper, you know, and it's constant improvement. So I did touch and go box squats, which really helped to teach me to hit parallel consistently, and then I would lower the box and it would teach me to go deeper. And I would take my time just repeatedly making sure I would touch that box until it was drilled into my head how deep I need to be going into the squat, and teaching me over and over and over. This is a great drill and alternative for you to do if you struggle with hitting depth with your squats. If you feel like I'm only doing quarter, or I barely hit parallel, I want to work on getting deeper, this is a great drill to help you practice that. My program also comes with mobility work, a mobility day, and mobility drills to help you with ankle, knee, and hip mobility, which all are important when it comes to lifting, especially with your squat if you're hoping to squat deeper. Now we're going to look at deficit deadlifts. This is a normal conventional deadlift, but you're standing on an elevated platform. Now, I decided to include this one because, again, it's something that I used to do at the start of my journey, and deficit deadlifts are really great to help you build power off the floor, and that extra elevation automatically increases your range of motion, so you get a deeper stretch in this movement. When you're doing deficit deadlifts, you want to make sure you're pushing your hips back so you get that extra mobility and you're sinking lower into that lift. You want the bar close to your body. You should be hinging at the hips. Your shoulders should be back as you are tightening those lats, and your arms should be long. When it comes to deadlifts, you really are working your legs. You are not lifting from your arms, you're not lifting from your back. You really want to pull that slack out of the bar and only be lifting with your legs. Think of just pushing the ground away with the floor. Now, when it comes to the deficit deadlifts, like I said, you already have to have some type of mobility to do it. So if you're finding that when you're standing on the deficit, in order for you to reach down, your back is rounding or is causing back issues, work with just normal conventional deadlifts until you can build up the mobility and the comfortability to do the deficit deadlifts. All right, really quickly on the leg press. I've always loved the leg press machine. It's just so much fun, and I've really enjoyed using the leg press as a burnout kind of exercise. So I like to do reverse pyramid sets with my leg press, and that's what I've included in my program. Reverse pyramid sets are when you are, well, just think of a pyramid but reverse it. So we're starting off with higher rep ranges and working our way to lower rep ranges. So in my program, for example, I start with the first set is 20 reps, then 10 reps, then 5 reps, and you just go lower and lower in rep ranges, but your weight increases. Now, reverse pyramid sets, however you flip it, I just really enjoyed this with some machine-based exercises where I could really isolate a muscle and I can just really burn out that muscle and really feel fatigued. So when you're doing the leg press, you want to think of it as descending that weight, slowing it down towards the bottom, maybe even pausing for a second, and then pushing back up with some force. Descending that weight, slowing it down, pausing towards the bottom, and then pushing back up with some force. When the weight is down and this muscle is stretched the most is when you're going to get the most bang for your buck, the most growth out of it, and produce the most force, and it's honestly the most painful. Now on to the hip thrust. You guys already know I'm not the biggest fan of hip thrusts. I mean, I will say I know it's a great exercise. It is a great exercise, but the setup is annoying AF. It's so annoying. And honestly, when it comes to your glutes getting the best stretch and carrying the heaviest load over its most lengthened position, the hip thrust is not ideal for that. There's other exercises that actually work better and that I prefer. But by and large, the hip thrust is massively popular for a reason. And when it comes to an exercise that isolates just the glutes, or majority like the glutes, then the hip thrust is king for that. I mean, in addition to being the best isolated glute work, is that it's really great for mind muscle connection. Everybody that hip thrusts knows they could feel it right in their booty cheeks, okay? And hip thrust is good to teach mind-muscle connection. Sometimes there are exercises that you can really feel a muscle working, and all it takes is for that first time for you to feel that muscle working to know, oh, this is what it feels like. And you're able to carry that knowledge forward into other exercises. So if you're someone who struggles to feel your glutes working in Romanian deadlifts, in squats, in lunges, you know, maybe do hip thrusts for a little bit, get used to that feeling, know what it feels like, build that mind muscle connection, and you'll be able to carry that forward into your other lifts, and you'll be able to connect with that glute muscle even when you're doing other lifts that maybe it's harder to feel it in. So that's another major benefit of the hip thrust. And then the powerlift press. This is something that I've had coaches put in my program for so long, and I used to skip them. But it's a really good one, and I definitely am trying to do more ab work this time around. So powerlift press works your obliques. It's an anti-rotation exercise. Honestly, it's really simple. You really want to stand like perpendicular to the cable. I don't know, like the cable would be here trying to pull me this way, right? And I'm fighting this rotation. So like if I grab the cable, I pull it out, it's trying to pull me this way, and I'm trying to resist that rotation. And all you want to do is press your hands out, keeping your hips square forward, your face square forward, as the weight is trying to pull you this way, but you're resisting it and you're staying straight. And you do that with each side. It helps to train your obliques. It's just great core work, great anti-rotation. Single leg tap. So I touched on this briefly in another video of mine. I included this one because I personally have a goal of getting a pistol squat, a dragon squat. I want to do it all, but first I need to work on just isolating this muscle and my strengths in each of these legs individually. So single leg tap is a progression exercise to help me to get that. It's honestly as simple as it looks. Hinge your hips back, keep all the weight on the leg that's elevated, and squat down as low as you can and stand back up. We are not shifting weight. When that other leg hits the floor, I'm not stepping on that leg, no. The goal is to keep all of the weight on the leg that's squatting up and down. Because think of a pistol squat. Your leg is elevated and the leg you're squatting on is holding the weight the entire time. And this is a progression movement to help build up to that. So over time, as your leg gets stronger, you will increase the step that you're standing on so you're able to squat deeper and build up the strength in your leg to do it. All right, sumo deadlifts, another massively important movement, another compound lift, another one that if you're not comfortable with, definitely just do an alternative, okay? Unless you have a coach, unless you have instruction, unless you have someone there that can really help you with your form, do not injure yourself. It's not worth it. So the modifications I've included for the sumo deadlift are doing the deadlifts with like a dumbbell or a kettlebell, or doing sumo squats. Anything where you have that wide sumo position and you're squatting down or hinging at the hips would really work for this exercise. Don't forget to check the description box. I will include links to some of the exercises below that I think maybe need further explanation. And yeah, hopefully you find all of this helpful. All right, on to some upper body stuff. We have the Pendlay Row, OHP. These are some of my favorites for upper body movements. I just love working with the barbell, you guys, if that isn't obvious. I enjoy the Pendlay Row, and I feel like I'm saying it wrong. I feel like I've been saying it wrong for years, and at this point you just can't stop me. But I enjoy this one because, as I've said, I've had back issues in the past, especially as I was heavier, and trying to do other row variations where you're standing and your torso is bent at like a 30-degree or 45-degree angle, without a doubt would trigger my back problems. But the Pendlay Row allows you to stand flat back, pick the weight up off the floor and place it back down. I honestly don't really place it. I kind of just go with a constant tension type of thing, but you can do it. You can do it that way where you place the weight back down on the ground. Either way, the flat back is what makes this move phenomenal for me as someone who still gets back issues. Oh my god, the camera almost died on me. Hopefully the color didn't change too much. It looks really blue now. But anyway, I was talking about my love for the Pendlay rows, flat back. This movement hits your lats. You really want to try to focus and isolate that muscle when you're using it. Just think about squeezing and pulling those shoulder blades back. Squeezing a pencil between your shoulder blades is how like a lot of people like to cue and describe it, but you're only trying to have your lats work and to pull that weight up. OHP is another upper body movement, really great for the shoulders. If you're not comfortable again with the barbell over your head, It's totally fine to do these with dumbbells. You're just pressing the weight up. It's good shoulder work. You want to make sure your feet are just pointing straight ahead. You're feeling that weight, getting it up there with your shoulders, and just taking your time with the motion and to feel it. OHP is different from the shoulder to overhead, which I have on, I think, the conditioning day. OHP, we're looking more for building strength, staying slow and controlled. The shoulder to overhead is more about getting that heart rate up. You know, we're just kind of getting that weight up there. One thing you do want to do with both of those exercises is punch your head through. So when you have the bar, it goes around and you're punching your head through this way. Hopefully that makes sense. I look so silly here talking about this. Lat pull downs. I think everyone knows how to do this. The only cues I want to say about this is, you know, keep the weight controlled. When in doubt, slow and controlled. Staying in control of the weight is always better than just jerking and not being in control, right? So with lat pull downs, I really enjoy feeling my lats go through a full range of motion, feeling that stretch all the way at the top, and then squeezing and getting it all the way back down at the bottom. I feel like I'm going on way too long with this. Romanian deadlifts. This is a good exercise. I don't know why personally I just don't like it that much, but it is a great I probably just need to do it more. But yeah, I don't know. I always kind of am like, ugh, why did I program this? One thing I do want to say with Romanian deadlifts, because it's notorious for people to feel it in their lower backs and have back issues with this one, is this exercise is meant to target your hamstrings and your glutes. So it's about feeling the stretch in those areas. It's about hinging at the hips as opposed to just bending all the way down. I want for you to really see the difference between those two motions. In one of the demonstrations I'm showing, I'm focusing on hinging at the hips, trying to push my hips back, feel that stretch in my glutes and down my hamstring, as opposed to just bending over. Two different motions, two different movements, and it's important to learn the difference because there's so many exercises that have to do with hinging at the hips. Record yourself, see how your form looks, focus on hinging at that hips, feeling that stretch in your glutes and your hamstrings, as opposed to just bending over it. There's not the same thing. Now for some of this cable work, we have face pull, tricep extension, cable rear delt fly, leg curl, and leg extension. So face pull is shoulders and lats. That's where you're trying to feel the muscle. So we're really pulling and squeezing those muscles, right? That's the muscles we're trying to feel. I look so silly. Tricep extension, your triceps at the back of your arm, and that's where you should be trying to feel the mind muscle connection in your triceps. When doing this exercise, I don't come up more than 90 degrees. There's no point. This isn't a bicep movement, right? With the leg curl and leg extension, it's the same kind of thing. Slow and controlled, especially controlled at the bottom. Bulgarian split squat, there's so much to say about this exercise. It's such a fantastic movement, and I feel like there's so much conflicting information out there in the interwebs. I see a new video every day on TikTok on the ways to do Bulgarian split squats, and it's just like, no, you're wrong. So I'm going to include a reputable source down below talking about the Bulgarian split squat. You can check it out. But yes, you can use this exercise to target other muscles, I guess, but primarily Bulgarian split squats for the booty, for the glutes, and you want your torso to stay upright. You don't want to be swinging back. You want to be thinking up and down, and really pushing with a leg that's on the ground, pushing up through the entirety of your foot, making sure you feel it in that glute. Glutes and other fun thing days. So I've included some drills that I've done in my calisthenics class, and that's because I do plan to keep up with my calisthenics. I want to see improvement with it, particularly pike compression. Some of you might be like, what's the point of this exercise? This exercise, do not sleep on this exercise, okay? First of all, it's hecka challenging. It's hecka challenging, but also we don't regularly work our hip flexors, and this gives you a chance to work and strengthen your hip flexors, which can help with hip issues, back issues, but can also help us to do really cool movements that I'm hoping to do in the future. So I do pike compressions because I want to see improvement with it, and I also want to be able to do cool things like this that require hip flexor strength. And so yes, listen, when I put together my programs, I'm thinking of body parts I want to grow, the physique I want to build, as well as cool things I want to do later down the line. I'm thinking progression, and I'm always thinking growth, and that's what my program is catered towards. And then I have some days where I'm doing just some other like glute work, more burnout stuff. glute bridge, single leg glute bridge, and actually just recently I threw in a frog pump. It's not on the program, but I think I'm gonna continuously throw it in just because it's a glorious burn. Like, you hate it, but you also love it, you know? And then of course we have walking lunges. Walking lunges is my favorite glute exercise. To be fair, y'all been watching me for years. I've never been one obsessed about growing the booty. That's not me. Yes, I want a nice butt. I think I have a nice butt. But I've just never been so obsessed with it the way you see it everywhere. But despite me not being obsessed, doesn't mean I don't want a nice butt. I do. And I do walking lunges, and I've done them consistently over the years for this reason. As great as hip thrusts are, recent studies have shown that it doesn't necessarily work a bajillion times better than squats. When it comes to engaging the muscle in its most lengthened and stretched position, a walking lunge is definitely better than a hip thrust. It's easy to add a barbell, a dumbbell, a kettlebell, add extra weight to that movement, or that the glute is carrying a heavy load while in its most stressed position. It's also easier setup, it's much quicker to do. I think it's superior, honestly. Not to mention, I just love exercises where you're hitting more than one thing, you know? Maybe when I get to like bodybuilding level and I'll have to specifically focus on growing one thing at a time, then I'll get more obsessed with like hip thrusts or exercises that really isolate. But right now, someone on a fat loss journey that wants to get overall strength and see overall improvement just on the totality of my physique, I love exercises and compound lifts that hit multiple areas. Walking lunges is another one of those things. From your glutes to other parts of the leg to honestly even cardio wise. Who doesn't end up huffing and puffing after some good reps of walking lunges? And that's why I program them. And then just to round it out, I also have a mobility day. I have some ab work included, and of course things like jump rope. I honestly wrote my program thinking of things that have helped me over the years with exercises that I've been doing for years, and as a throwback and like homage to where I started, because I've included exercises that I've been doing from the very start of my journey that have helped me to build the strength that I have currently, the mobility that I have currently, and that I know will help you to also get that same kind of mobility and strength. The exercises that I've chosen have helped to teach me mind-muscle connection, have helped me to stick to the gym and to increase exercise adherence because I saw the most progress using them. And this is why I've written them in my very first program. So thank you to every single person who purchased my program, who's doing this with me, for all of you guys in our WhatsApp group chats and in our community chats that, you know, are telling me you enjoyed this workout or you hate me because you didn't like that workout. Like, it makes me so happy to know that you guys are enjoying this as much as I am, and that you're gonna see so much gains, so much progress and so much gains as you continue doing it. Like, even with the squat section, I included an example, like a demo of numbers to show how you increase weight with your squats and build strength over time. Those numbers I included, those are numbers I worked with when I started. Like, those are the numbers that I was given with my very first program. And I don't know, it feels so full circle and so amazing to be able to write my own program now, including those same numbers. Not saying that's what you need to start with, but just to put them there, to have people doing what I did and just being on this journey with me. I thank you so much for trusting me, for including me in a part of your story and your journey, whether you're a beginner or you're advanced, or you're looking for something new, or you just wanted to support me and you bought a program. Like, thank you so much for including me in your life story and in your fitness journey, and for watching this video. Please give it a like, subscribe, and I hope this little overview of my program helps those of you that have purchased it, and those of you that are still just trying to get comfortable in the gym and understanding movements and the muscles they target and what you should be feeling, and, you know, general information, honestly. So I'll see you guys in another video tomorrow. Thank you again.